Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Summer Jazz Freezer. I'm here to give you some news on tonight. It's gonna be about vote because voting is coming up next year. The vote for the president. So a timeline of new and old. Offer to limit the political power of Black American and other voters of color. So American long history, of black voters suppression to put down by authority or force, suppress, rebellions keep from being known. So suppression is like have someone and just you have someone, but you're trying to have them known, have them not being known, not being seen. Just having like in a district way over there somewhere, you know, and just having not, you know, just having their, you know, lip speaking or just being there. So the 15th Amendment, reads the right of a citizen of the United States to vote shall not be denied, you know, by the United States or by the state account of race, color, a previous condition, or the 15th Amendment, guarantee African American men the right to vote. The United States of 15th Amendment made voting legal for African American men. However, voting for them was also non-existent. So some places, especially in the South, because of the violence and practice that like poll takes. So United States Constitution, prohibits a veteran citizen, right to vote. That's why I say everyone have to vote. Everyone have the rights to vote. It's under the 15th Amendment. So voting time are coming real soon. In 2024. So I need everyone, all races, all across the nation, to go out and vote. Black American will not be denied, a place in a district where they cannot vote. So all voters are important. 2024 United States President election will be the 60th president election scheduled for Tuesday, November the 5th, 2024. So everyone have a verse, and your verse is by voting. We need all race, we need everyone, to cross the nation to vote. So this will be a proposal, a permanent policy, so everyone will have the rights to vote. It will guarantee power for African American to vote and not be denied. Now this all across the nation. I request that all African American to have the voice by voting. I request that all African Americans stay in a district, will allow them to vote. Because if they're in a whole nother district and it's not on the map nowhere, they won't have the right to vote because in order to vote, you have to be in a district. So that's the news on voting because voting is coming up real soon. So, so I'm gonna talk about Joshua. Joshua farewell speech to the Israelite because remember he old, so he about to soon depart. So he doing his farewell speech. So after a long time had passed, and the Lord had given Israel, rest from all their enemies, around them. So Joshua is very old man, but he lived a prosperous life. So Joshua he summoned all the Israelites, just the some of them for his farewell speech. The elders, the leaders, the judges. He summoned some of them all. That he is to let them know he's very old. That he told them themselves. Have been everything the Lord your God had done to all these nations for your sake. It was the Lord your God who fought for you. Remember how I anointed as an inheritance for your trials in all the land of the nation that remain. So Joshua tell them, I help y'all conquer that land. I help y'all I spy and give y'all good report. So he told them, he said, remember how, remember how I lead y'all to y'all land, so y'all can get your inheritance. So the Israelite, the nation, have conquered, between Jordan and the sea in the west. So they are still conquering the land. They are still conquering the land. What God gonna have to step in, because God see that Joshua old. So God said, I'm gonna conquer some of y'all land. But when I conquer y'all land, I need y'all to go in there and make sure you take everyone out. Don't associate with no one in that land. Don't make no agreement with no one. You know, because God said you gotta take everyone out their land. Everyone out their land. So they are still conquering the land to get their inheritance. So the Lord your God Himself will push them out of the land itself. So God said, I'm gonna push them out for y'all sake. Because you see Joshua doing the farewell speech, and Joshua getting at the age now. So the Lord your God Himself will push them out for them. So now we see that our God is thinking about driving them out of their land, but helping the Israelite out, because Joshua cannot do too much right now. You know, um, Taking a possession of their land. Now, so God is telling them, be strong, be careful to obey all that is written in the book of the law of Moses. So now He's telling them to be strong, be courage, and they are still conquering. That's going to show you how big the land is. You know, big the land is, that they still is conquering their land. So God is telling them, do not associate with no one. In that nation that's living among you. But remain under you. So do not revoke them. He said, don't associate with them. Also, don't provoke them. So the name of their God swear, but to them that you must not serve them or bow down to them. Because see, they probably serving other gods and everything. That's why God said you gotta go in that land. You gotta take everyone out. Because they're gonna corrupt you like what they're doing. That's why He's telling them, don't bow down to none of them that's in that land. But you are to hold fast to the Lord your God as you have until now. So now God is saying, living in the land I'm giving you, do not associate with no one. That you will live among you. So they will corrupt you with their false God. But you are to hold fast to the Lord your God as you have until now. Remember, God said He will drive them out for them, helping them out. Just like He promised. So now Joshua is old and God is helping them out. To this day, God said no one had been able to stand with you. The Lord your God had fight for you. God had kept telling Joshua that. Even when He made him a leader, He said no one gonna be able to upstand you. They got defeated one time, but they've been fighting and winning ever since. Just as He promised, be careful to love the Lord your God. So He tell them, no matter what y'all do, y'all being in that land, still love your God. So God said, He said again, do not intermarry with them and associate with them. And then you may be sure that the land your God will no longer drive out. Will not drive them out. So God telling them, I'm helping y'all. I'm driving out these people to conquer this land for y'all. You know, so if I'm telling you to go on this land, don't associate with no one on this land. Don't make no agreement, no treaty, no nothing. You know, all I will not be driving these people out of this land for y'all. You know, so instead, you know, they will become snares and trap for you, and they will wipe out your back, and they will stab you in your back, you know, thorns in your eyes until you perish. Until you perish, you them out of this land. You know, I'm not gonna help you. You know, so that's what God's saying. Once you let them stay in there down the line, then they're gonna corrupt you. You know, so God say, until you perish, till you get all them out of that land, I'm not gonna conquer no more lands for y'all. So now God said He will not drive out no one out for you until you perish all those people out of their land. So now God said that she is about to go, that He is about to go in away all the earth. You know, so now Moses saying, I'm about to go all the earth. Moses about he's down his little farewell speech. You know, so you know with all your heart, you know. Now Joshua telling him about God. You know with all your heart in your soul that no one of all good promises the Lord your God give you has failed. Every promise had been fulfilled and not one had failed. So that's what Joshua telling him, you know. Joshua telling him, you know, God had took care of y'all. You know, and not no one promise had failed. So that's what he telling him. He said, I'm about to go all over the earth right now. I guess he's doing this little farewell. You know, so he's saying in your heart and your soul, believe that God gonna be there for you because He's not gonna fail you. He said He never fail you on your journey. You know, so but just as all the good things the Lord your God had promised you had come to you, so He will bring on you all the evil things that He had threatened until the Lord your God had destroyed, you know, this good land that He had given you. You know, so that's what God telling you. You gotta destroy anything that's evil that's on that land. You know, you gotta get rid of all the people that's on that land. When God said wipe them out, He mean wipe all of them out. So if you violate the covenant of the Lord your God, which you had commanded, you know, and you go and serve other gods, you know, and you bow down to them, you know, so the Lord anger will burn against you, and you will quickly perish from the good land that He had given you. Now, this is Joshua is speaking to them. Now, Joshua is old, and he summoned the whole Israelite, you know, to do his farewell speech. You know, so do not associate with no one in this land, or you're going to have to answer to God. You know, so that's the word on Joshua soon going to be dying, and he was doing his farewell speech, you know, to the Israelite, you know, reading some of the book from Moses, reading some of that to them, you know. When you go in this land, don't associate with no one, you know, don't bow down to no one, you know. So he was explaining a whole lot of stuff to them, the do's and the don'ts, you know. And you still have to love the God, love your God, you know. So, and we also had talked about voting. It's about to be voting time. You know, even though it sounds like it's next year, but sometimes that time be passing so fast. You know, so this is the time. You know, if you need to update your voting card or whatever, this is the time for y'all to try to prepare everything for your vote to vote next year. You know, cause next year we're gonna be voting for another president. If the same president don't vote again, you know, that'd be great also. You know, but everyone will still have to update everything, make sure everything is good. We're having a little problem of African Americans trying to block them from voting, but we need everyone to vote. Everyone have a voice to vote. You know, they have to be in a district. They will have to vote. They have to be in that district. You know, so I'm trying to prepare everything, you know, for them to vote. You know, so I request that all African Americans have a voice by voting. I request that all African Americans stay in that district. We allowed them to vote. You know, um, and so we talk about Joshua. You know, he's getting old, and he was doing a farewell speech. Telling them the do's and the don'ts in that land. So that's all the word and the news I have for you on today. Y'all have a blessed night, and I see you on your next video.